Hi guys, for today's video I'm going to be doing a cut crease eye makeup look. This is actually a look that I posted on my Facebook page and I got a lot of positive feedback and people really seemed to like it, and a couple of people asked for me to do a tutorial, so I thought I may as well do it. This is my very first YouTube video that I've done, so it's a bit nerve-wracking, but as you can see my makeup is all done. Apart from my eyes. My eyes are primed. All I did was use some concealer and set it with powder, and now I'm ready to go. So let's get started. So today I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, which is my favourite palette in the whole world. I'm just going to be looking in this mirror here as well. Excuse how dirty that it is. But you can see that I've hit pan on some of the colours, which I'm really upset about. So I'm going to actually start by creating the outline of the cut crease. A lot of people do this in many different ways. This is how I personally like to do it. And I also have slightly hooded eyes, as you can see, which basically means that when I look straight ahead, I lose all of my crease. So if I put something directly in my crease, the minute that I open my eyes and look straight ahead, I lose my crease completely. So that is why today I'm just going to be showing you how you can get around that if you do have hooded eyes. If you want to do this straight into the crease, of course you can do, but I'm just going to take this shade, which is called Warm Taupe. Now I'm taking this on a lip brush, and the reason that I use a lip brush is because they're so pointed and very precise. They're great for precision work, so that's why I'm using that today. And when I look straight ahead, you'll see that I lose my crease, so I'm just going to go right above where my crease is, and I'm just going to stencil in the cut crease. The reason I'm using this taupe colour is because it's not too dark, and I don't want to go for something super dark in case I'm not happy with the shape and I want to sort of adjust anything. This is the safest way to do it. And I like to flick it up at the end as well, just to really elongate my eyes. Okay, so now I'm just going to sort of stand back and look at that shape and see what I think of it. And you can see how easy that was by using a lip brush. It really made it easy to get that nice thin line. You want this end flick here to kind of match up with your bottom lash line. So if you imagine this just kept on going, it should sort of meet with that, and that's when you know that you've got it in a pretty good place. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that line. So now this is the bit where it's all about changing brushes and really blending, because you don't want any harsh lines. You want it to be really blown out, really diffused, and you know, really blended. So I'm going to start off by going, well, I'm going to use this brush here. This is by Eco Tools. This is one of their double-sided brushes. I'm just going to use the fluffy end, and I'm going to go into that same colour, Warm Taupe. I'm just going to go straight on top of that. Now this is when it starts to blend out. It's all about blending, blending, blending. This is not something that's you're going to suddenly have it blended straight away. It does take a little bit of time. So I find it best by going into a bigger brush like this one, blending it out. And then if you want to make that darker again, you go back in with a lip brush. Because obviously for the finished look, we do want it to be so that right here is the darkest, and then it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. At the minute I am just using the Warm Taupe shade. That is the only shade that I want to use right now, because that's sort of my transition shade. Back in with this brush. I haven't added anything else onto this brush. Just really blending that out. Okay, and now that I feel like I have that blended out really nicely, this is when I'm going to go in with a different colour. So I'm going to go in with this gorgeous colour called Love Letter, which is this one right here. I'm just going to take a little bit of this. This palette is so pigmented, you do not need much. And I'm just going to follow that line again. Again, using my lip brush, my trusty lip brush. Don't worry about it being super neat at the moment. We are going to tidy a lot of it up with concealer as well. So as long as you get that shape, it can always be fixed. Back in with this brush again. I'm not going to add any product to that. I'm just going to blend that out. And I'm going to go back in with that lip brush again. And that same colour, Love Letter. Like I said, you don't need to be super neat with it. We are going to tidy it up at the end. It's all about getting that shape and it's about blending it out. Now obviously you could do this with one colour. You do not need to use two like me, but because I wanted to use the pink, I didn't want to just have the pink. I wanted it to blend out into another colour, which is why I took that warm taupe shade, because that's a bit closer to my skin tone. And then again, blending this out with this brush. Sorry if I keep covering the camera with my mirror, you can tell I'm new at this. And I'm just really blending that out. You don't want any harsh lines. It's not going to go 100% straight away. It does take a little bit of time to build up. I'm now just going to swap this brush, turn it to the other side where I'm using this smudger side. And I'm going to take Buon Fresco, I believe it's called. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that completely wrong. And I'm just going to place that right on top. So because this brush is slightly thicker, that's just going to diffuse that even more. And then back into this side again. So this is the bit that can sometimes seem like it's really, really long, but to be honest, you can make this as quick or as long as you want. You could easily do a couple of these steps and stop straight away and it would still look really, really nice. It just depends on what sort of look that you want. As a makeup artist, I'm quite fussy myself, so that's why it takes me a bit more time, because I do want it to be the perfect blend. So I'm just going back in with this because I really want this pink to be visible in the end look. I want you to be able to see this gorgeous colour. It's kind of the main colour and then it's just being blended into other shades. And then without adding any product on, I'm going back into this one right here. I'm just going to blend that out. I'm a firm believer that you don't need every makeup brush in the world to create different looks. I think you can work with any tools. However, I do think that a cut crease is one of them looks where you do need a precision brush. You do need a fluffy brush like this one, a crease brush, just to make sure that you really get that nice cut crease. So again, I'm blending that out. Like I said, you can do this as much or as little as you want. It really is up to you how far that you go with this. Now obviously don't worry if your makeup goes below that line, because you can see that because of this fluffy brush, I have blended that slightly below that line, but don't worry about that because we are going to clean that up. So I'm just going back into this blender brush. This time I'm going to pick up the colour Love Letter straight away. Tap off the excess because it's very, very pigmented. I'm just going to go straight in with that. There's always that time when you're doing an eye like this when you think, oh my god, it looks really bad. But don't worry, it will get there. It always has to go through that phase of looking a little bit rough before it looks amazing. You can see I'm literally not even blending in a certain way. I'm just going back, forth, back, forth. I'm literally just completely blending it out, not in any certain way. Okay, I am going to come back to that, but I'm going to leave that one for now. So I'm now going to go in with my concealer. I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer on the back of my hand. This is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer in the shade Light, I believe. No, in the shade Fair. I'm going to take my concealer brush, which is just a flat brush like this one. I'm just going to take a little bit of that concealer, and this is when you really carve it out. So you can see now that I'm instantly cleaning that up underneath and making that really nice and sharp. Any concealer for this is absolutely fine. Of course, you want one that's quite a thick concealer to make sure that it covers up any product that you want to cover. You can see now where I'm getting that shape. Sorry if you can hear my dogs barking. They do that a lot. Okay, so you can really see where that shape is coming into play now. That looks so much better already. I'm just going to go back in with that lip brush and back in with Love Letter again. And you can go back and forth as much as you want. It's not like you've done one thing, you've got to move on and that's it. You can go back and forth on these steps as much as you want until you are happy with the look. So once I've done this, you could go then back in with the concealer. I'm just really blending that out. Going in with this buffer brush now. Smudger brush, sorry. And then back in here. So you can see that when I'm closer to this line that I'm creating, I use a smaller brush, and then when I want to blend out the edges, that's when I go in with the thicker brush. So you can see now where I'm getting that shape. I love these colours. This has to be my favourite palette of all time. If anyone is thinking, should I buy it? Yes, yes you absolutely should. And then just back in with a little bit of concealer, just to tidy that up. And then any excess that I have, just put that straight over my lid. Okay, so at the minute that is the shape that I want. I may go back to it if I want to maybe add in a bit more colours, maybe make this deeper right at the base, but I'm going to come to that later on. So I'm now actually going to go back to my lip brush, surprise surprise. I really feel like a lip brush is key for a cut crease. You cannot go wrong with a lip brush. Okay, so now I'm going to take Warm Taupe again. In case I didn't explain it before, Warm Taupe for me, because that's a transition shade, this is just a shade to map things out. Even if I'm not going to use this as the final colour, I can still use this to map out what I want to map out and then go in with a different colour. So I'm now going to create the second part of the cut crease. So I'm going to go directly below this line. I want to make sure that I leave that gap that's between the two sections. And again, level to where my lower lash line is. And I'm going to bring it straight down. I actually want it to go a little bit past my lower lash line because I'm also going to really smoke out the bottom lash line as well. So I'm just going to bring that straight down. So you can see now where I've got that shape from. So I've created the bottom part of the cut crease. So I am now going to go in with a flat brush, just like this one here, just a basic flat brush. You can use a concealer brush, whatever you want. And I'm just going to, first and foremost, I'm going to take no product on here. I just want to diffuse that line a little bit. Going downwards, don't blend upwards, otherwise you're going to blend it into that other part of the cut crease, which we don't want. We just want to diffuse it just in this first section just a little bit because we're applying a lighter colour. Okay, I'm going to go in with Primavera, this colour right here. If I pronounce any of these wrong, I apologise, but I'm just guessing about how to pronounce them. And I'm going to place that on basically the inner 2/3 of the eye. Right up to where I've created that line. Right into the inner corner. So now that I've applied that, I'm going to go back in with my lip brush, surprise surprise, and I'm going to take Cypress Umber right here, this lovely dark brown shade, and I'm actually, because this is such a hard place to fill in, I'm actually going to use this to fill in this area. It just gives me a bit more control than using a big fluffy brush and going maybe too over the top or adding too much product and then getting myself in a little bit of a mess. And just go in as much as you want until you get your desired effect. And make sure you blend. You want it to be a seamless blend. You want it to go from gold to the brown really seamlessly, just looking like an ombre effect, really, really blended. Okay, so you can see now how I've got that shape and how I've blended that in. When you break a cut crease up, it really is simpler than you think. It looks really complicated. When you're doing it, it's not as bad as you think. I'm just going to go back in with Love Letter a little bit. I just really want that colour to pop. So I want to make sure I've got a nice amount on there. Because I don't want to go in with a fluffy brush over this because I don't want to mix these two sections together. Again, I'm just going to try and blend it out a little bit with this brush. It is possible. I know you think it wouldn't be, but it is. You can really blend it out gently without creating a mess. And now that I've blended it up a little bit, that is when I'm going to go back in with the smudger brush with nothing on it and just blend that out. And then when I get high enough, I then want to go in with this. So it's all about just creating different effects by using different brushes. Okay, oh, I do want to blend that out a little bit more. Just want to make sure there's no harsh lines. Okay, lovely. Now I'm going to go in with another lip brush. This one, basically another one because I want it to be completely clean. I don't want to mix any products together, and I'm going to take a little bit of concealer, just a small bit, a very, very small bit, and just go in that line. Really, really small bit. You just want to create that gap. Okay. Okay, I'm really happy with that. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the lower lash line. I'm not actually going to put any eyeliner with this whatsoever. I really like the way it looks without. I'm not a massive eyeliner person anyway. I like sort of how soft it looks without liner. So I'm just going to go back in with a different smudger brush. This one is by Royal and Langnickel. This is the crease and smudger brush. And I'm just going to take, first I'm going to take Warm Taupe. It's very similar to the top lid. You just want to build up the colours. And now I'm going to go in with Love Letter. Trying really hard to not pull faces while I'm doing this. It's just your natural reaction. And then I'm actually going to use the same brush again and go into this lovely dark brown. This time sort of focus right on the lash line. Really smoke that out. You can smoke it out as much as you want to. I just personally, I think that the top is so heavy with the double cut crease that I like to balance it out by really smoking out the lower lash line. I'm now going to take my flat brush one more time and I'm going to take the shade Vermeer. I know this is a pinky shade, so you'd think it wouldn't really go, but for me, because I'm so fair, this is the perfect highlight shade. And I just love it as an inner corner highlight. I mean, that is blinding. And I just think it's so beautiful as an inner corner highlight. So I'm just going to pack that on the inner corner. Okay, and finally, some mascara. I'm going to use my favourite mascara in the whole world. This is the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Extreme Mascara in the colour Extreme Black. I don't really tend to do false lashes because I do have naturally very long lashes anyway, so I don't really tend to bother with falsies. I do apply them to clients on a regular basis and I do think that they look amazing, but for me personally, I'm not a huge fan. I do love this mascara, but it's very easy to get into a mess with it, so I always have to be careful when I use it. Okay, so that is the finished eye look. If you just look at the difference between both eyes, you can see what eyeshadow and mascara really does for your eyes. This right here just really brightens the eye. The colours around it and the way that I've placed them really elongate the eye. It makes them look wider, it makes them look brighter. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So I'm now going to do the other eye off camera and I'll be right back to show you the final look. And this is the finished look, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I absolutely love this look. I definitely think that a cut crease is something that seems really daunting, but hopefully after watching this video and it's been broken down into some steps, it doesn't seem as daunting and some of you will be willing to try and do a cut crease, which if you do, please tag me. I would love to be able to have a look at them. I'm going to leave my Facebook and Instagram in the description bar down below, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.